Brighton is far more than its famous beach. Over 2 days, I explored a haunted manor, stepped inside the extravagant Royal Pavilion, wandered its colorful lanes, raced above the coastline, and watched the sunset behind the ruined West Pier. Stay until the end for the hidden spots and money-saving tips most visitors miss. Day 1. Brighton's historic center and local neighborhoods. Morning. Preston Manor and Preston Park. My Brighton adventure began at Preston Manor, a grand home preserved just as it was in 1912, the very year the Titanic met the sea. This sprawling estate spans 4 floors and 20 rooms, but it was the basement engine room that truly brought history to life for me. There I discovered original brass servant bells still wired to the walls, used by the Thomas Stanford family to call on staff who lived and worked out of sight, kept apart by strict social lines. In the butler's pantry, rows of old poison bottles sat just as they were left, meant for rat control. A small but striking detail that quietly dissolves any romanticized image of early 20th century elegance. Known as one of the UK's most haunted houses, the manor carries a quiet chill, especially in the southwest bedrooms. I lingered in the Cleves room where Lady Ellen Stanford once held seances, hoping to reach the other side. Later, I climbed the same staircase where generations have reported seeing the White Lady, a mysterious figure in white believed to be a long-ago nun. If you'd like to explore it yourself, tickets are $18 for adults and $11 for kids, and the house is open Friday through Monday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Before heading out, I made my way to the hidden pet cemetery tucked into the corner of the walled garden. Quiet and a little surreal, it holds 16 dogs and 4 cats, each marked with tiny headstones. The inscriptions, touchingly honest. One reads simply, "Dear Peter, cross and sulky, but loved us." Insider tip. While the main park lawns draw the crowds, cross the road and discover the Rockery. It's an enchanting overlooked garden filled with winding stone paths and a dramatic 100-foot waterfall, so many pass it by without a second glance. Late morning, Royal Pavilion. Leaving the quiet of the manor behind, I made my way 2 miles south into the lively center of the city. In just about 10 minutes by bus, I arrived at the Royal Pavilion, a dazzling sight that feels like an Indian palace magically placed in the heart of Brighton. Built by George IV as his dream seaside retreat, it's a feast for the senses with its shimmering domes, elegant minarets, and lavish chinoiserie details that delight at every turn. The banqueting room truly takes your breath away. The grand finale of opulence. Right above, a massive crystal chandelier weighing a full ton dangles from the silvered claws of a giant dragon. Back in the 19th century, guests were so unnerved by the thought of it crushing down mid-dinner that Queen Adelaide finally ordered it to be removed for everyone's peace of mind. Even the great kitchen brims with personality. Designed to serve extravagant 70-course meals, it still had to be stylish, so George had the columns crafted to resemble gleaming copper palm trees. Give yourself at least 2 hours to explore the richly decorated rooms and soak in the stories. Adult tickets are $25 and children's tickets are $15. Well worth it for such a joyful journey through history and imagination. Insider tip. Connect to the museum's free Wi-Fi and use your own headphones to access the free web app audio guide so you don't have to wait in line for a physical device. Afternoon. Brighton Afternoon Tea Bus Tour. After leaving the pavilion, I strolled just 5 minutes toward the seafront, arriving at the charming pool valley. There, I swapped city sidewalks for a cozy seat aboard a beautifully restored 1965 Routemaster bus. This 90-minute journey loops through Brighton's vibrant center and follows the coast out to the striking white cliffs of Saltdean, all while you enjoy a delightful spread of sandwiches and treats. I found myself focusing less on the landmarks and more on the staff. Watching them balance trays of scones and hot tea while navigating a narrow, winding staircase on a moving bus was impressive. To keep your drink from ending up in your lap, the vintage tables have a built-in cup holder, and the tea comes in reusable mugs with lids, which I definitely needed once we hit the bumpier parts of the coast road. The food is generous and lovely, from smoked salmon sandwiches to delicate rose and pistachio cake, and if you're in the mood, you can even treat yourself to a glass of locally crafted Brighton gin. Ticket prices range from $55 to $75 depending on your seating choice and drink preferences. Insider tip. Pool Valley is a small, easy-to-miss stop tucked just behind the pier. Be sure to arrive exactly 15 minutes before your scheduled departure. The bus keeps precise time and won't wait for anyone running late. Late afternoon, the Lanes and North Laine. Brighton's heart seems to hold two distinct worlds, gently split by just one street. South and North Street, the lanes unfold in a charming tangle of winding alleys that trace the layout of a 16th century fishing village. This is the town's more polished face. Low, uneven rooftops crown cozy buildings filled with sparkling jewelry and timeless antiques. Wandering the narrowest paths here lets you feel the medieval soul of Brighton, preserved just as it's always been. Step into North Laine and the mood shifts in the best way. A friendly local was happy to clarify, never pluralize it. Lane comes from an old term for field, a nod to this area's past as farmland on the edge of town. Today, it's the city's creative heartbeat, buzzing with record stores, vintage boutiques, and vibrant street art. Keep an eye out for the Cassette Lord murals, telephone boxes transformed into retro pixel-style cassette tapes, brightening corners all around. Insider tip. If Snooper's Paradise starts to feel overwhelming, slip away to the Brighton Flea Market in Kemptown. You'll still find those quirky vintage treasures, glassware, books, and oddities, but with a calmer, more relaxed rhythm. Early evening. Spa treatment at Little Jasmine. After exploring North Laine, I took a short, easy walk just about 5 minutes to New Road to visit Little Jasmine. It's become my go-to sanctuary whenever I need to unwind after being on the move all day. They offer a wonderful range of treatments from classic Thai massage to deep tissue, and even focused on foot therapy if your legs are feeling the strain. I tried their Thai oil massage, and honestly, it was the first time my back felt truly relaxed, not knotted up for hours. The 45-minute session cost about $77, but I'd say go for the full hour at $100 instead. Once you settle in, the minutes just melt away. Insider tip. Book your spot online before you even arrive in Brighton. Since the spa is right on New Road, close to the pavilion, you can head straight there after shopping instead of dragging yourself across town later in the day. It makes unwinding that much easier. Evening. Dinner at the Witch's Restaurant. Let me show you one of the city's most enchantingly eerie dinner spots. After unwinding a bit, I strolled about 10 minutes to Meeting House Lane, where I found the Witches. A cozy haunt that feels like stepping into a mystical art gallery. The walls are alive and dark, captivating photography and witchy little touches that had me transfixed the whole evening. The real magic, though, is on the plate, especially the Polish-inspired dishes. I tried the Tatra Mountains, a rich, smoky grilled cheese that arrives warm and gooey, paired beautifully with cool, tangy cranberry and crisp gherkins. That mix of heat and sweetness, absolutely unforgettable. I also couldn't resist the pierogi, plump hearty dumplings served in such a generous portion, you'll leave completely satisfied. Mains typically range from $20 to $40. Everything's handmade with care, which means patience is part of the experience. I'd come a little less ravenous. Waiting while hungry made the timing feel longer than it might have otherwise. But if you're winding down your day, settling into one of their quirky, mismatched chairs, soaking in the atmosphere, and letting the meal unfold at its own pace, that's where the real charm lies. Day 2. Brighton's Seafront and Beach. Morning. Old Police Cells Museum. Let me take you beneath Brighton Town Hall. Here's something most people never notice as they pass by. Hidden just below street level is a quiet piece of history. A dim 19th century police station that once held prisoners from the 1830s until 1967. I spent a morning exploring the old police cells museum, standing in the very same tight, low-lit cells where people waited decades ago. What really struck me were the walls, still marked with graffiti carved by young detainees during the famous mods and rockers era of the 1960s. Seeing those scratches up close makes Brighton's spirited past feel suddenly tangible, like history you can almost touch. One story that stayed with me the most was about Henry Solomon, the city's first chief constable. In 1844, he was tragically killed in his own office by a 23-year-old man who'd been arrested for stealing a roll of carpet. It's a somber moment in British policing history, the only time a chief constable has ever been murdered inside their own station. The tour lasts about an hour and costs $13. Insider tip: bring an extra layer. Even on sunny days, it gets chilly down there. 3 meters underground in a stone cellar will do that. And don't forget to book ahead online. They only allow visitors through guided tours, so showing up without a reservation means you won't get past the front door. Brighton Palace Pier. I made my way down the water, drawn toward the iconic Brighton Palace Pier, a beloved fixture of the city since 1899. Stretching over 500 meters, about 1,600 feet of wooden walkway into the sea, it's like a lively carnival afloat. The moment you step on, you're wrapped in sound and color, jangling arcade games, glowing signs, and that unmistakable buzz that makes you feel like you've slipped into a nostalgic seaside postcard. I wandered all the way to the far end, where the rides hover above the waves. The Horror Hotel is a must. It's not really about the scares, more about grinning your way through a delightfully cheesy ghost train full of retro charm. Most individual rides run from $5 to $10, and I'll admit, I spent way more than I meant to hopping on them one at a time. Save yourself the hassle. If you're planning to try the carousel or the Helter Skelter, just grab the $38 wristband right away. That way you can relax and enjoy the fun without counting every coin. And a friendly heads up about the snacks: keep a tight grip on your food. The seagulls here are bold and huge, and they've got sharp eyes for a chip box. I saw one swoop down, snatch a tourist's lunch mid-bite, and vanish in seconds. If you're eating, treat your meal like a treasure. Don't look away, even for a second. Insider tip: before you buy your tickets or wristband, check the digital boards near the entrance. Even on sunny days, strong winds rolling in from the English Channel can shut down the taller rides. You'll want to know what's open first, so your pass gives you the most bang for your buck. Brighton Zip. Standing on a narrow platform above a bed of pebbles brings a unique kind of excitement, equal parts thrilling and heart-pounding. Racing a friend down the Brighton Zip offers one of the most lively ways to take in the coastline, soaring side by side along a 300-meter line just above the waves. The crew at the top are fantastic, cheerful, encouraging, and full of energy as they help secure your harness, which makes all the difference if your confidence wavers once you're up there. The experience is less of a wild plunge and more of a graceful glide, giving you plenty of time to soak in views of the pier as you coast toward the landing bridge. A single ride costs $24, and while it might not leave you breathless with adrenaline, that first step off the platform into the crisp sea air is absolutely unforgettable. Insider tip: before making your way to the beach, take a quick look at the wind conditions on their website. Since the zip line is fully exposed to the coastal elements, strong winds can lead to closures for safety. You'll want to avoid the disappointment of arriving to closed gates. Checking ahead ensures your adventure goes smoothly. Afternoon. Lunch at Shelter Hall. As soon as my feet touched the firm sand of the beach again, I strolled east along the promenade for about 5 minutes until I reached Shelter Hall. A true gem, especially if you're with a group that can't quite decide on dinner. With 7 different kitchens serving up meals under one roof, it's the perfect spot to keep everyone happy. I headed straight to Lost Boys Chicken. Their buffalo wings are practically famous in Brighton, I went for their regular portion at around $13, though there's a larger option for around $18, and I couldn't resist adding a side of seasoned curly fries for $7. The wings were gloriously messy, packed with that sharp, tangy vinegar kick and deeply comforting. Just what I needed after a breezy day by the sea. One thing to keep in mind, since each kitchen runs on its own, your dishes might not arrive together. My fries came so early that I'd polished them off long before the chicken made it to the table. So while it's a fantastic place to eat, don't expect everything to be served in sync. It's part of the charm. Afternoon, Brighton I-360. After lunch, I strolled back down the promenade, drawn straight to the striking silhouette of the Brighton I-360. Towering 162 meters, or 531 feet above the pebbled shoreline, this sleek steel spire stands in fascinating contrast to the historic seaside scene. Rather than a tight elevator ride, you're welcomed into a spacious, futuristic glass pod. Open, airy, and climate-controlled, with the charming Nye-Timber Sky Bar nestled right at its heart. The ascent is so gentle you might miss it at first, then suddenly the vibrant rooftops of Brighton begin to shrink beneath your feet. At 138 meters, or 450 feet, the view unfolds dramatically, revealing the haunting remains of the West Pier slowly fading into the sea. The entire journey lasts just 25 minutes, over before you know it. At around $26, it's undeniably a splurge for such a brief experience. I happened to go at noon, but next time, I'd aim for the last ride of the day, when the setting sun sets the English Channel ablaze in golden orange hues. Insider tip. Save some cash by booking online in advance, but always peek at the forecast first. Since the view is the whole reason you're there, rising into a thick blanket of damp British fog would be a real shame and a missed moment. Late afternoon, Brighton Bandstand. Strolling west along the pebbled shore from the I-360, I soon came upon the Brighton Bandstand, a real gem tucked into the seaside landscape. Erected in 1884, this elegant white and green cast iron beauty, affectionately known as the birdcage, reveals intricate Victorian craftsmanship that feels almost like lace when you're up close. Stepping onto the upper deck, with the sea air gently brushing my face, I was struck by the peaceful, timeless vibe of the place. The balcony offers a breathtaking view of the beach and the haunting silhouette of the West Pier, especially magical as the late afternoon sun begins to sink. From April through September, Sunday afternoons often bring live brass bands or even locals twirling to tango and swing, though I didn't catch any music that day. Simply standing on the quiet wooden platform soaking in the ocean vista made the little detour absolutely worthwhile. If your feet need a rest, duck down to the lower level right at the beach height, where the old Victorian space has been transformed into a snug little cafe. For just $4, you can warm up with a hot cup of tea and relax on the outdoor patio, lulled by the rhythm of the waves. Insider tip. Don't just walk by, climb the steps to the upper deck and wander all the way to the southern tip, facing the water. There, the ornate iron pillars beautifully frame the distant ruins of the West Pier, an effortlessly stunning, uncrowded photo spot that captures the soul of this coastline. Early evening, sunset on Brighton Beach. I made my way from the bandstand down to the water's edge near the West Pier, eager to snag a cozy spot for sunset. Brighton's beach is covered in smooth, sun-warmed flint pebbles that, after a bright day, hold heat like nature's own heated cushions. So comforting at first. But that comfort fades quickly. Within about 10 minutes, I was shifting constantly, the unyielding stones pressing into my lower back. I really wish I'd thought to bring a cushion, a sweater, or even a blanket. Still, the experience is unforgettable. The sea here has its own soundtrack. The deep pull of each retreating wave tugs the pebbles back with it, creating a rich, clattering rhythm like countless marbles tumbling together in perfect time. Ahead, the haunting iron bones of the West Pier rise from the sea, silhouetted against the sky. As the sun dips low and paints the clouds in bold streaks of fiery orange behind those weathered remains, the scene feels almost magical. If you visit for winter, stay a little longer. You might be treated to the breathtaking sight of thousands of starlings dancing in sweeping, fluid flocks above the ruins as dusk settles in. Insider tip: skip the windy, open stretches. Instead, settle just behind one of the tall wooden groins. These sturdy barriers block the breeze beautifully, and you can lean back comfortably against the timber instead of wrestling with the rocky ground. It makes all the difference. Evening, dinner at Balinese House Restaurant. After soaking in the sunset, I made my way to Balinese House Restaurant, a cozy little hideaway nestled in Pool Valley. It's a family-run treasure dishing out genuine Indonesian and Balinese comfort food, lovingly prepared by Chandra and Lorena, a passionate couple who pour their heart into every detail. Chandra works magic in the kitchen, while Lorena warmly welcomes guests up front. Stepping inside feels like I'm being invited into a close friend's home. Warm, unpretentious, and full of soul. There's no fancy gloss here, just honest charm and a deeply personal touch. Main dishes range from $14 to $20, offering a satisfying meal without stretching your budget. I went for the seminyak fish curry, served in a generous portion that warmed both stomach and spirit. The sauce was deeply aromatic, perfectly spiced, not so hot that it overwhelmed, but just enough to highlight the freshness of the fish. Since everything's made fresh by just one family, the pace is unhurried and relaxed. If you're pressed on time, this might not be the spot. But if you're ready to slow down, savor each bite, and let the steaming bowl of curry gently bring your day to a close, this place is pure magic. Useful info for spending 2 days in Brighton. Best time to visit Brighton. If you want to catch Brighton at its liveliest without fighting massive summer crowds, aim for late spring or early autumn. This city's built for walking, and navigating the narrow stone alleys of the lanes or exploring the beachfront is much more enjoyable when you aren't fighting a tourist crush. May, June, and September are the months that actually feel right. During these windows, the thermometer usually stays between 14 and 20 degrees Celsius or 57 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. It's warm enough to grab an outdoor table for a pint by the sea, skipping that chaotic, suffocating crowd that takes over the coast in the middle of July. Winter is a solid alternative if you prefer having the monuments to yourself. The walking paths along the Palace Pier get pretty chilly on a windy January afternoon, but the Royal Pavilion's far less crowded, and the rest of the city feels much more relaxed. Airport tips. Gatwick is the absolute go-to for Brighton because the rail connection's unbeatable. But here's the ultimate insider secret to save your cash. Completely ignore the signs for the Gatwick Express. It's a total marketing trap for tourists. Regular Southern or Thameslink trains run on the same exact track, taking the exact same 30 minutes to reach Brighton Station but cost about half the price, usually around $11 to $15. Just make sure you know which terminal you're standing in. The train station sits inside the South Terminal. If your flight arrives at the North Terminal, don't panic or look for a taxi, just follow the signs to the free 2-minute monorail shuttle that drops you right at the train platforms. Once you pull into Brighton Station, keep the city's geography in mind. The station sits right at the top of a massive hill sloping down to the sea. Rolling your bags down toward the beachfront hotels is a breeze, but if your accommodation's tucked away in the hilly, residential neighborhoods like Hanover, save your legs and skip the walk. Grab a local number 7 bus right outside the terminal exit, or call a quick Uber for under $10 to handle that steep climb. Where to stay? Brighton's neighborhoods have completely distinct personalities, so where you sleep dictates your whole trip. Kemp Town is the city's proud, historic LGBTQ+ epicenter, offering a bohemian mix of vintage flea markets, indie cafes, and lively pubs. It's highly energetic, but stays grounded. cozy guest houses and traditional bed and breakfasts along these leafy streets generally cost between $80 and $130 a night. Hanover is the colorful, hilly heart of the local community. It's famous for its steep streets lined with bright, pastel-painted houses and boasts the highest density of traditional neighborhood pubs in the city. Staying in a local home rental up here gives you an authentic slice of residential life, with prices averaging around $90 to $150 a night. If you're traveling on a strict budget, look slightly inland toward the London Road and Preston Circus area. This former industrial zone has evolved into a bustling student hub centered around the historic open market and great cheap eats. Modern student-style blocks and simple budget hotels here offer the best value in town, running anywhere from $55 to $85 a night. For high-end luxury, the historic architecture of Brunswick Square provides a grand backdrop. This area showcases stunning Regency-era seafront terraces and manicured private gardens, sitting just far enough from the central piers to offer total peace. Upscale apartments and premium boutique hotels in this historic enclave easily command $220 to $360 a night. Getting around. Brighton's seafront and city center are best tackled on foot. You can cross the entire central district in less than 20 minutes, making walking the most practical option. If you want to cruise along the coast, grab one of the Barrel BTN bikes. This massive public bike share scheme features hundreds of e-bikes scattered across the city. You simply unlock them via an app, pay by the minute, and use the dedicated flat cycle lanes that run right along the beach. For longer trips to the scenic South Down Hills or the Devil's Dyke, public transport is the way to go. The local bus network is incredibly efficient. You just tap your bank card or phone on the reader when you're boarding and exiting, and the system automatically caps your fare so you never overpay. Bringing a car here is a massive mistake. The City Council actively discourages driving with an aggressive web of camera-enforced bus lanes, low-emission zones, and parking fees that can easily skyrocket past $45 for just a few hours. Leave the driving to the locals and stick to the coastal paths. Where to eat? Brighton is a massive culinary hotspot, and since you already have your main dinners and lunches locked in, these highly rated independent spots are the perfect way to round out your trip. For a sleek, stylish experience in the historic center, head straight to the Flint House. Tucked away in a beautiful corner of the lanes, this buzzing venue serves incredible modern British small plates. You can pull up a stool at the counter or sit on the terrace, sharing creative bites like truffled blue cheese crumpets, crispy pork belly, and fresh local seafood. A meal here generally runs between $45 and $75 per person. If you want a fiery, high-energy vibe, book a table at Bonsai Plant Kitchen on Baker Street. This fully plant-based hotspot completely redefines vegan food with bold, Tokyo-style street food cooked over a traditional charcoal grill. The menu features smoky oyster mushroom skewers, fluffy bao buns, and inventive cocktails in a dark, intimate space costing around $40 to $65 a head. For an absolute Brighton institution, Tere a Tere on East Street has been elevating vegetarian dining into an art form for decades. The menu's a playful, globally inspired feast featuring dishes like deep-fried halloumi chips, steamed rice buns, and massive tapas platters. The atmosphere is vibrant and full of character, with a multi-course dinner averaging about $50 to $80 a person. That little getaway to the coast always feels over in a blink, but it's a sweet reminder that you don't need weeks away to feel truly refreshed. The real charm of a place like this isn't ticking off landmarks. It's about slowing down, wandering with no plan, and letting the town reveal its secrets as you go. If you had fun exploring alongside me today, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Oh, and if you're wondering where to wander next in London, just click here for my go-to guide filled with the city's most delightful hidden corners. Let's keep discovering. There's so much more out there.